All right, going to talk about Arkansas quarterback Taylen Green and preview him for the 2025 season. We're going to talk about what areas stand out, his three biggest strengths. We're going to talk about some improvement areas. And then we're going to talk about our QB spotlight model. What did the model demonstrate and showcase that he did one, and what did it flag on what he needs to work on? We'll talk about what the film and data show. It's going to go hand in hand with his strengths and his improvement area. We'll look at the 2024 season and briefly recap it. Then we'll preview the 2025 season, go through each game briefly, see what Taylen Green needs to do for Arkansas to hit their win total, which is at 5.5, I think, right now, depending where you are shopping around. But with that said, let's dive into Taylen Green. Let's talk about his strengths first, some improvement areas, and then we will look at what the QB spotlight model showcases. And this is your first time tuning the channel. We put out a lot of SEC quarterback content. We'll have some film breakdowns. We'll have more Taylen Green content if you want to keep up with that. So biggest attribute of Taylen Green, I think it comes as no surprise to anyone, and that's his athleticism, mainly his scrambling and his rushing ability. He had 823 yards on the ground last year, not including sacks. Of those 823 yards on the ground, 414 came from scrambles, came from broken plays, came from him improvising and making plays on the ground. That was second in the SEC. Only Lenore Sellers had more scramble yards than Taylen Green last year. He was fourth in the SEC in rushing yards, not including sacks, and he had 32 rushing attempts where he had at least 10 yards or more on that attempt. That was tied for first in the SEC with Diego Pavas. He's a freak. He's huge. This is a huge attribute for Taylen Green. This is what really separates himself here, and this is why people that get upset with his inconsistency, which we're going to get to. This is why people keep on coming back to Taylen Green because of his freaky athleticism and the plays that he can make on the ground, utilizing his legs. That's the first key. That's the biggest attribute for Taylen Green. Second one, this may come as a surprise, maybe not, but it's his deep ball ability. Now, he didn't showcase this as consistently as maybe you'd want to at the games, but he was better at this than probably given credit for. I think maybe if it was hard to realize that he was actually one of the better SEC quarterbacks on balls thrown 20 yards or more downfield, it's probably because my mind included, we have these plays of him missing easy throws. But on some of the tougher throws, he was able to make. He had 26 completions where the ball was thrown 20 yards or more downfield. It's averaging 2 per game, actually probably more than 2 per game considering he was out a little bit in the Tennessee game. His completion percentage on those type of throws was noticeably higher by maybe 4 or 5% than the national average here. And we really saw these type of throws, at least some NFL type throws against Tennessee before he got hurt. There are 2 or 3 right off the bat that come to my mind. What was it? Armstrong he threw him to that were just next level type throws. So he was fourth in the SEC on these type of throws, or having with completions of these type of throws here. So it's the deep ball ability. So he has the big stuff, right? He has the athleticism, has the deep ball ability, and then something else that he did well on passing wise that I don't think they utilize enough, and I think could help him get more comfortable and lead to more consistency, is the play action. Only 20% of Taylen Green's dropbacks were off of play action. So, for example, Nico from Tennessee last year, his play action or passes out play action were more than 50% of his dropbacks. Same with Quinn Ewers, right? Now, you don't have to have that. Some quarterbacks are better off play action. Some quarterbacks are better on straight dropbacks, not utilizing play action. But I think right here, I would like to see some more play action. Now, Petrino knows more about football than I could ever dream of. But Green had 6 passing touchdowns, only 1 interception off of play action plays last year. 20% of his dropbacks. Whenever he had a straight drop back, he had 8 interceptions, only 7 touchdowns. That was 80% of his drop backs here. So he was better at play action. Limited sample size, only 20% of his passing or drop backs were off of play action. But I would still like to see that a bit more. If you can get more than that 35, 40%, where you're still balanced, you're still running Petrino's offense. But I would like to see some more play action from Green. I think he was better at it, and I think that can get him more comfortable. Okay, so let's talk about the improvement areas. I think any Arkansas fans know is just the consistency, the small plays, right? The easy plays, like some of the passes that stand out against Oklahoma State. There were some easy throws that just did not hit. So I think it's the consistency. He has the big stuff down. He has the wow factor. That's why people keep coming back. That's why you see all these draft stock or these mock drafts talking about Green being a highly drafted quarterback. I don't know much about NFL. I don't know what. I don't keep up with the draft that long, but or that much, but I think consistency is the number one thing. If he can be consistent, if he can be just average on these easier type throws, he's going to take a step forward. How do you do that? Well, I think he was holding on the ball way too long at times, which for an athletic quarterback is common. You don't want to take that away from them because they tend to make some really nice plays when they hold on the ball long. But they can also be inconsistent. They can also get off rhythm. They can also throw interceptions, force throws. So last year, out of every SEC quarterback, only 3 starting quarterbacks in the SEC held on to the ball longer than Green last year. Marcel Reed from A&M, Brock Vandagriff from Kentucky, and then Lenore Sellers from South Carolina. Only 1 starting quarterback in the SEC was responsible for more sacks than Green was last year of all the quarterbacks, and that was Quinn Ewers. So almost a quarter of the sacks, I think 21% according to PFF, was Green's fault. So that just tells me that you're getting out of rhythm, stay in rhythm of the offense, don't hold on the ball too long, and just trust the process, right? So that's the biggest thing. Consistency and holding on the ball too long are the biggest improvement areas. With that said, let's go ahead and look at I apologize. Let's go ahead and look at the at Taylen Green's QB spotlight model. If you follow this on X or have seen any of these other videos, this is the model we created. Not perfect. There's a lot of limitations, but it gives us a broad idea of the quarterback's strengths and the quarterback's improvement areas. So we take into consideration 5 main factors, 5 main keys. Accuracy and efficiency. So we combine adjusted completion percentage and yards per attempt. Turnover avoidance. We combine interceptions with fumbles. And then explosiveness is number 3. That's the deep ball ability, which Taylen Green excels in. Athleticism, number 4. That is rushing yards per game. How many rushing attempts you had where you had at least 10 yards or more on the ground. And then QBR, so third down / red zone is not a perfect stat for that, but QBR for right now does a good enough job for. So we can see that he was okay in accuracy and yards per attempt. The accuracy, you want to improve on. The yards per attempt is great. Anything over 8 is pretty good in yards per attempt. But the accuracy for adjusted completion percentage, we want to be in more that 3 to 5 range. Again, it was those easier throws. The interceptions weren't horrible compared to other quarterbacks. There are some fumbles that I think hurt Taylen Green as well. You still want to lower those numbers. Like we talked about, the explosiveness as it relates to using his legs and pushing the ball downfield. They were on the higher end of side, like that. Those are his main strengths, and then the QBR was in that medium factor. Again, just inconsistent. At times did really well, at other times struggled. Right, so those are the main things, the main areas for the QB spotlight model, and this will be adjusting as we go through the season. We have some kind of gambling edges, or we hope we have some gambling edges based off this model, and we'll talk more about the QB spotlight model. If you have any questions about it, please let us know. But again, it does a decent enough job kind of previewing and giving a broad idea of the quarterback. So with that said, let's briefly talk about 2024. Then we'll preview the 2025 season and see what needs to happen for them to get that win total. So 2024, as inconsistent as one can be, right? Like Oklahoma State, I think is the perfect game to round up what the whole season was like. That first half, Green was on fire. Like he was looking like a top 2-3 quarterback in the SEC, and then the whole meltdown. It wasn't just Green, right? Now he did have his play in it, but it was the entire team that meltdown. Then you have UAB beat Auburn, even though Green didn't play great. You beat Auburn. A&M was a heartbreaker. You bounced back and you beat Tennessee, which was a huge win, probably the biggest win of the year last year. Then you were just inconsistent, right? LSU down, Mississippi State with the worst team in the SEC. Ole Miss get beat, Texas you fight, beat Louisiana Tech, lose to Mizzou, and then Texas Tech in the bowl game. Just inconsistency. That's what describes and defines the 2024 season. So with that said, moving forward to 2025, let's go through briefly each team, right? You start with Alabama A&M, win. Arkansas State, win. I like their quarterback, Jalen Raynor, actually. If you want any G5 quarterback content, come follow us, and we'll keep you up to date. But that should be a win. Ole Miss, Austin Simmons breaking a new quarterback. I think it just depends. Do you think Lane Kiffin gets him ready, or do you take the advantage with Taylen Green? Ole Miss is probably going to be favored. So that's toss up E, but lean towards Ole Miss. Memphis, you should win. They got new quarterback Brendan Lewis, but they're one of the best G5 teams in the nation too. But if you think Taylen Green takes the next step, you beat Memphis. Notre Dame's going to be tough. Tennessee, I think, is going to be more toss up. I don't think Tennessee's going to be as good as last year. A&M, they come to y'all, right? This is the first time in the series ever, is that, or at least since A&M has been back in the SEC, is that right? Has they always been at J World? Someone can let me know in the chat. But that's a toss-up game. Do you think Reed takes that next step? If Green takes a bigger step than Reed, does that give the advantage to Arkansas, maybe. A&M's probably still favored as of now. Auburn, same thing. Jackson Arnold, does he take the next step? It really just depends if he fits in Hugh Freeze's offense. Mississippi State, Blake Shapen, are they going to be good? Probably not, but you don't want to slip up. They got LSU, Texas, and Mizzou, right? So I think there's some for sure losses, obviously, in here. I think there's some for sure wins, but I think there's a lot of toss-ups. I think it all comes down to, do you believe Green takes the next step and the whole team takes the next step? And also, like, not every quarterback in the conference can take the next step like every fan base thinks they're going to do. So I think it just comes down to, you think certain quarterback is taking the next step? Do you think Green's taking a bigger step, or is he taking a step back? Is he maintaining that position? So I think it's kind of like the 2024 season, where there's a lot of toss-up games. So consistency, I think will get you over that win total. But Arkansas fans, I do want to hear from you. What do you think about Taylen Green? Obviously, some big flashiness. He does all the big stuff, the hard stuff well. God-given ability. Can he take that next step? If he's just an average, consistent quarterback, and he has those big splash plays, I think he can be pretty good. I think that would really help Arkansas. Obviously, there's a lot more factors than just the quarterback position, but we only talk about the quarterbacks here. So Arkansas fans, I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What are other improvement areas? What are other strength areas? What do you think he needs to do for Arkansas to hit the win total? What's the record going to be? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'll have more SEC quarterback content, Taylen Green quarterback content coming out. So if you like that type of, or like this type of college football content, please consider subscribing. Got some cool, fun stuff coming up that we will share down the road. So anyways, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share, all that YouTube stuff. It helps us grow. We'll see you next time. Peace.